Welcome to IHIP News. I don't know how we're going to be able to have a conversation about the incoming shit show that is President-elect Trump. Let me just give you an example, Pumps. Here is a little tidbit from his train wreck press conference yesterday at the Roach Motel, Mar-a-Lago. Kylie, play the clip.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate.
With your references to Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth, can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No. Gas heater is much less expensive. The heat is much better. It's a much better heat. As the expression goes, you don't itch. Does anybody have a heater where you go and you're scratching? And that's what they want you to have. They don't want you to have gas where you don't have the problems of the electric. So you see what's happening up in the Massachusetts area with the whales, where they had 2 whales wash ashore in, I think, a 17-year period. And now they had 14 this season. The windmills are driving the whales crazy.
Well, how are we supposed to comment on that? Like, my first thing is maybe we just fight for, did you notice the area up around his temple where the makeup wasn't blended? Can we just say the president?
The eyes too.
Right. He did he's talked crazy stuff. He made 0 sense. Didn't talk about any of his campaign promises.
No.
Didn't have one thing to say about policy, but we did notice his makeup wasn't blended.
His makeup was bad. And the question I asked myself when I watched that press conference yesterday is, how do we know when it's time to call in a doctor for dementia or Alzheimer's? How do we know? Because this has been a long, ongoing, unhinged rant where he makes no sense. So at what point do we call his competence into question? Because he's clearly incompetent before he's even sworn in. So it's like, how do we know when it's time?
I think we know.
Well, we know.
I think we know. I think the question is, when will enough be enough for the MAGA base? And number one, I don't know if they see this crazy stuff,
right?
Or if they, quote, as the saying goes, got the itch. That well-known saying about the itch, right?
Let's talk about that. Have you ever heard that before in your entire life?
Never.
Do you even think that's a saying, or you think he just made it up? Because I mean, together we've been around 100 years and we've never heard heat makes you itch.
Pumps, it is a jet stream of bullshit. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's cosplaying up there. Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. How does that help all of his voters that were all riled up about inflation and immigrants? Okay, right. So all right, change the name. Does that make you feel like a tough guy? You feel like a big guy now? I mean, that does nothing. And then all of this business about whales is him wanting to deliver a promise to the big oil donors. And, we never talk about this, but let's talk about this. When he first ran in 2016, it was, I'm rich. Mm-hmm. I'm a billionaire. I don't have to ask people for money. I don't have to be beholden to anyone. Now we have the most beholden president this country has ever had. He is more beholden to money and swampy-like activities than anybody ever has been. And his big pitch in 2016 was, I'm rich. I don't even have to beg people for money. Well, now it's morphed into this flea market, riffraff, knick-knack, nonstop. I think you pointed out the other day, he's now got his inauguration book for sale, right. Pre-order. It's just... he doesn't know what he's talking about. I saw something the other day that he confused windfall tax with windmills.
That doesn't surprise me.
Right.
He is clearly unwell. He is mentally unwell. I mean, you can start at the makeup, you can go all the way through to the Gulf of America. And here's the thing with him. He is so compromised mentally. Now, he's always been intellectually compromised, but he had enough diabolical need to be number one and to make money and to bow down in transactional relationships. He's to the point now, he is obviously not able to make the decisions that affect himself, look at his makeup, or the country. He refused to release his medical records. At the time, I thought maybe it was ED medicine, but now I think he has some serious mental health issues that have been documented by his medical team. And so he has become, in my opinion, the least diabolical of all these craven people he puts around him. In my estimation, Elon Musk, far more diabolical. Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, I don't know how diabolical is. He's a dipshit. But so he is surrounding him people that are far more able to execute craven plans than he is, because he is a straight up buffoon.
Well, you brought up the word compromised and attached it to his mental acuity, which is no question that he is, either not bright or in the latter stages of life where you have debilitating brain fog, best case scenario, worst case scenario, dementia. But back to the word of compromised, he is massively compromised. This is a person that is a convicted felon. He has been speaking to our adversary Putin when Trump himself wasn't in power. He stole documents. Everything's transactional. Let's not forget, what he did with Zelensky, where he tried to hold up the money where he got impeached the first time. So this person is incredibly compromised. He's bought and paid for now by all of these tech bros who have come out and shown the world how diabolical they are, and their reign over all of our information is going to last much longer than this 4-year lame duck session of Trump. But here's what we have to talk about. When he goes out and says this stuff, and it's flashback to people in the media, the only response that they can say is he is clearly losing his mind and is having cognitive problems. And then when he talks about changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, the response needs to be, how does this help all of the voters that are suffering financially? How does this help working class Americans? And it doesn't. They're going to clip up and they're going to continue saying washing. But let me play you one more. If you didn't think that was bad enough, here's one more from the Mar-a-Lago train wreck. Kylie, play the clip.
People are crazy. There's something wrong with them. There's something wrong with them. They also want to go back, and they have already started that, to when you buy a faucet, no water comes out, because they want to preserve. Even in areas that have so much water, you don't know what to do. It's called rain. Comes down from heaven. And they want to do no water comes out of the shower. It goes drip, drip, drip. So what happens? You're in the shower 10 times as long, No water comes out of the faucet. You want to wash your hands. They want to go back to even stronger than what they have right now. As you know, I ended that policy. You can have all the water you want. Makes no difference. It comes weird, especially in certain areas. We have so much water, we don't know what to do with it.
This is, if you go to a nursing home to visit a grandparent, this is the kind of stuff that you hear. This is what you hear. This is a drunk person at a bar, hammered, schnockered out of their mind, drip, 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 and the rain. It's called rain. We have so much water, we don't know what to do with it. And you're like,
and it comes down from heaven, even though he's not religious.
Somebody call this man an Uber, cut him off.
Right.
So we're moderately intelligent people. I wouldn't say we're the sharpest knives in the drawer, but we've got a little bit of sharpness to us. How do you intelligently talk about this other than just to say, this man is not bright, he is not exhibiting leadership qualities that the United States of America needs right now? This is wildly alarming. And why are Republicans, both in the House and Senate, not sounding alarm bells on this? They're all mad at the Democrats because they felt like people around Biden possibly covered for him. Well, guess what? Biden is quacking all the way out the door. He's got very limited days left. Now it's Trump. He's the hot guy in the hot seat. So how do you cover such breathtakingly stupid things that this man says? What do you say other than that's dumb?
Well, I think you are exactly right. I think the Democrats and the mainstream media, because it's true, need to start saying, okay, Donald Trump held a press conference. He talked about changing the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, whales and faucets. He did not address.
Sorry, I have to cut you off. The itch, the well-known statement, the itch.
The itch is the best part. I can't believe I forgot.
Very well-known saying, you got the itch.
You got the itch from heat. Yeah. But I think they start saying he did not address the price of eggs. He did not address how he was going to make Tic Tacs bigger. All the things he addressed in his campaign, you start saying the campaign promises that he made, no tax on tips, didn't address that. Immigration, didn't address that. He did not go through the laundry list of the top 5 things he campaigned on and say none of those policies were addressed in this press conference. In addition, he could hardly complete a sentence. He said faucet, faucet. He cannot speak clearly. He needs to have a medical exam, and the American people need to see a copy of the report. I mean, I would do that with every press conference, every statement. If he comes out, Eric Trump, by the way, was on Twitter saying, Gulf of America. And I'm just like, he has the dumbest kids on the planet.
Eric Trump is a dipshit. And
he's a dipshit.
He sent Don Jr. off to Greenland. And if this is America's best foot forward, diplomacy-wise, the level of which we are fucked is so difficult to process and think about that we have the most incompetent delusions of grandeur. I mean, people that truly are suffering from a psychological condition called delusions of grandeur, that don't know anything, don't know shit from Shinola, as the saying goes. And
not the itch.
And we got Eric, Dawn, Cash, Tulsi, all of these. It's just a complete clown car of incompetence. It is truly trickle down incompetence. Mm-hmm. And then you have all of these billionaires sitting there licking their chops because they know how transactional this man is and how easy he is to manipulate. And Apple, Google, Meta, and Elon Musk, they have shown all of us that we want to be able to do the things that we do. We want to remove consumer protections. We want to pay less taxes. Basically, we need to figure out how we can fleece you all more. And Trump's the guy that will help us.
Absolutely. I would suspect that when decisions are being made, there's no question in my mind that Elon Musk is in the room having input because he does not leave his side. So much so that his favorite reporter, Maggie Haberman, is saying, he's like, why is he here so much? So, I mean, that narcissism clash is coming. But I just do not think Trump has the mental acuity to make any decisions. And I think they're covering it up because all the Biden stuff, it's classic projection, which MAGA is the best at.
I agree. I absolutely agree. All right, Pumps, have a great day. And listener, we will see you guys soon. Oh, and we did just launch YouTube memberships. So please support our show as we head into Trump's America and get a YouTube membership. There are different levels, and we'll be dropping special content there for members. And we'll see you guys later.